Every summer we catch ourselves doing stuff like this, trying to get houseflies away from us. They're all over the place, which is no surprise because there's over 150 species of flies, and the most common is the Musca domestica, or housefly, which makes up 91% of flies. Flies are something we're used to dealing with on a day-to-day basis, but most people don't know too much about them, other than that they're an annoying nuisance and generally gross. With more knowledge about houseflies and possible harm they can cause by spreading disease, eliminating and coexisting safely with them will be much easier. Today I will share with you some of the interesting facts I have discovered about flies. Beginning with their life cycle, I will detail how their day-to-day lives are, including eating, reproduction, and some of their more harmful characteristics. Secondly, I will go over some of the best ways to eliminate flies, including preventative and active methods. Finally, I will talk about some ways humans benefit from flies both in the past and the present. A fly's life begins in an egg sac with 100 of its siblings. A female fly can lay 9 of these egg sacs in her life, totaling 1,000 eggs. She will lay the egg sac in a safe, warm spot where there's plenty of food, usually in organic waste or feces, something like that. These eggs will then turn into maggots, white squiggly things, and they will eat and gain strength for up to a week until they turn into a hard, pill-like form called the pupa. After 3 days, they will hatch out of the pupa, reaching full metamorphosis and turning into a fly. When they leave the pupa, the size that they are is the size they stay for the rest of their life. Their size depends on how much they eat in the larval stage, not on how much they eat as a fly. And a full-grown fly is usually about 10 millimeters, has 6 legs, and is one of the only insects with 2 wings. Most have 4. But I won't bore you too much with their descriptions, as we all know what they look like. One of their most interesting characteristics is their eyes, which a human eye can't see, but they have 3,000 to 6,000 simple eyes within one large complex eye, which is basically like a human looking at 3,000 computer monitors, and they are aware of what is happening on every single monitor, which is why flies are so hard to catch. In the wild, flies live 2 to 4 weeks, but when they're threatened with cold, lack of food, or no water, they can go into sort of a suspended animation, which is like a hibernation for a bear that can last months, as long as they're not bothered. When not threatened with this, they will eat almost anything if it's available. They are partial to feces, rotting organic matter, and very sugary foods. They can smell food from a very long distance. However, to determine whether it's tasty or not, they have to land on it. They have little extensions on their legs called tarsi, which are basically like taste buds on their feet. This is where the danger to humans enters. Flies pick up bacteria every time they land, and they leave a little bit every time they land. So everything they land on, they eventually bring to your food. Not only is that the danger, but flies also can only take in liquid food. They have no teeth, which is probably why they're so partial to soup. So when they land on a piece of dry food, they must take their elephant-like mouth and scrape the bristles on the food, and then they have to spit up saliva or digestive matter from their stomach to make it liquid, and then they suck it back up through their mouth. This is dangerous, obviously, because part of what they're spitting up is a previous meal, which could be feces or worse. But also in their saliva, they can sometimes carry diseases such as salmonella, leprosy, tuberculosis, or typhoid fever. Because of the disease-spreading properties of flies, it is important to contain and prevent infestations as soon as possible, and there are several ways to do this. The first and most effective method is sanitation. It's simple. If you limit where they feed and breed, you can limit their activity. So make sure all trash containers are covered, counters are wiped off, and never leave food uncovered when it's outside. The second most effective way to kill flies is by using their natural enemies. Take a page out of the lady who swallowed the fly. The first thing she swallowed was a spider, which is one of the fly's most natural enemy. So keep spiders in your house if you can stand them. If you can't, you can always go and buy a Venus flytrap.